Hello and welcome to the show. I am Joe Tophat. When I did my Ring and Bell video, I referred to the movie as the most depressing kids movie ever made. Somebody in the comment section pointed out The Brave Little Toaster as a counter-argument. I don't think The Brave Little Toaster is more depressing than Ring and Bell for 3 reasons. 1. The main characters actually get a happy ending, unlike Ring and Bell. 2. There are more humorous moments in The Brave Little Toaster. And 3. The Brave Little Toaster is more disturbing than depressing. It was one of those movies I grew up with as a kid. I saw it a lot, and although there were some moments that I thought was creepy as a kid, I never realized until I became an adult how disturbing the movie can be. A lot of people have covered this movie, talking about how it traumatized them as kids. The movie didn't traumatize me as a kid, but I can admit it is disturbing. And so, in today's video, I'm going to talk about it. So without further ado, let's begin. The movie is based on a rather obscure book by Thomas M. Dish. I don't know if I said that right. The story plays out mostly the same in both versions. The biggest difference being the ending, which I'll talk about later. The funny thing is, the book is nowhere near as disturbing as the movie. Usually it's the other way around. Anyway, the movie starts off with the appliances, Toaster, Lampy, Radio, Blanky, and Kirby, who is called Hoover in the book, are left all alone at their master's summer cottage. They hadn't seen their master, who is named Rob, in years. In fact, the last time they saw him, he was just a kid. They spend their time cleaning the cottage and wait for him to come back. Every time they hear a car coming, they would run to see if it's him. Blanky even imagines that it is him, only to learn that it isn't. This is actually a pretty heartbreaking thing. It just makes you realize that they've probably done this so many times before. And it's like each time they get their hopes up just to have it dashed. This movie can be pretty depressing, but I still say it's more disturbing, and I'm going to get to that in a little bit. The air conditioner, voiced by the late Phil Hartman, teases them over their belief that Rob is coming back, going so far as to tell them that he'll never come back. The others don't take kindly towards his attitude, stating that the air conditioner is just jealous because the master never played with him like he did with them. This leads to the first disturbing scene in the movie. The air conditioner has a mental breakdown, causing him to short circuit and explode. It's amazing that they were able to get away with this scene. It is pure nightmare fuel. I've come across so many people who said that this scene caused them to have so many nightmares when they were kids. It's no wonder. It's disturbing. Even though Kirby states that the air conditioner was a jerk, you can't help feel a little sorry for him. Though later in the movie, we see Rob repair him, and since he's now an adult, was able to reach his knobs, thus giving the air conditioner a happy ending. Funny thing is, the book begins with the air conditioner already broken. No mention of him having a meltdown. The reaction of the main characters was basically good riddance. they learn that the cottage is being sold. So, Toaster comes up with the idea to go to the city to find the master. After Lampy gives so many bad suggestions on how to get there, Toaster comes up with using a chair hooked to a battery, allowing Kirby, voiced by Fur Ravenscoft, to pull them. As they are going, they sing City of Light, the only cheerful song besides Tutti Frutti in the entire movie. That's right, City of Light is the only cheerful song written for this movie. Let that sink in. Every song after this is either disturbing or depressing. City of Life does a great job at capturing the joy the characters are feeling starting off their journey. They eventually come across some animals, and much of this scene is just silly fun, until Toaster comes across a flower that's all alone. Upon seeing its own reflection in Toaster, it believes it found another flower. When Toaster leaves, it wilts and dies. It's a very sad moment, but it does serve a purpose. You see, Toaster and the others weren't very nice to Blanky at first. It was decided that the flower would be the same color as Blanky. When Toaster sees the flower wilt, it makes him feel bad that he wasn't nicer towards it. That makes him rethink how he treats Blanky, which is why he's nicer to Blanky after this scene. In the book, the flower just recited some poetry after seeing its own reflection in Toaster. It was just meant to be silly. Now for the next disturbing scene that traumatized so many kids, Toaster's nightmare. It starts off innocent enough. We see Rob as a kid making toast and funny faces, only to be taken away by some black smoke as an evil-looking clown dressed like a fireman shows up to tell Toaster to run. This clown caused a lot of people to have chlorophobia, which is the fear of clowns. I'm not sure if there's supposed to be some deep meaning to Toaster's nightmare. If I have to guess, the clown could represent how this fire is just some sick joke. That's just my interpretation, I don't actually know. Believe it or not, the clown was voiced by the late Joe Ranft. For those who don't know, Joe Ranft was a legendary writer for Pixar. He helped write many of the early Pixar movies, including Toy Story. He even served as a co-writer for this movie. He was also a voice actor, having voiced Lanny and Wheezy from Toy Story 1 and 2, and Heimlich from A Bug's Life. He also voices Elmo St. Peters, the parts guy in this movie. Yep, Heimlich and this creepy clown were voiced by the same guy. Think about that. We later see the characters try to cross over a waterfall, only for Toaster, Lampy, Radio, and Blanky to fall in, leaving Kirby alone. Although Kirby is a grouch who constantly complains about the others, he jumps right in to save them. They are later found by Elmo St. Peters, the parts guy. Yeah, I know I'm skipping over some parts. It's just that if I talk about each and every scene, we'll be here forever. It's at the parts store that Toaster and the gang learn that the parts man is a shady person. He claims to be selling new parts, like a blender motor, only to just take it out of his own blender. I admit that when I was a kid, I never thought too much about this scene where he's taking apart his blender. Now that I'm an adult, I can see how disturbing this must look to the appliances, especially that dripping oil. This leads to one of my favorite songs in this movie, and one I like to listen to around Halloween. It's a B-movie show. This song is about how they're all living in some kind of horror movie, one in which there's no escape. It's like these appliances have all gone mad from spending years in this place, and they just accepted their fate. They even have a twisted sense of humor about it. It's amazing what this movie was able to get away with. They eventually escape and find their way to Rob's apartment. The new appliances are very nice to them. They explain that Rob is selling his old summer cottage and everything inside. They help Toaster and his friends to find a new master. They end up living with a down-on-the-luck ballerina, and they live happily ever after. Sorry, that's what happened in the book. In the movie, the new appliances are jealous that Rob wants to take Toaster and friends off to college with him instead of them, so they act passive-aggressive towards them. Then they sing Cutting Edge to make Toaster and friends feel obsolete. It's not as disturbing as some of the other songs, but the message is clear. They're new and they're old. They then throw Toaster and friends in the trash. Even though his mom offered to let him take the new stuff, Rob states that he has no interest. Instead, he wants to find a store that sells old appliances. The pear-shaped lamp, who helped throw away Toaster and friends, looks like he regrets his actions upon hearing this. I always thought it was an interesting touch. Now for the infamous junkyard scene. The appliances are trying to avoid an electromagnet that's trying to take them to the trash compactor. The electromagnet never says a word. He's almost like death, trying to come in and take you. He's probably the creepiest character in the movie, as he seems more like a monster than anything else. As the appliances try to avoid him, the electromagnet would collect the cars who sing the most notorious song in the movie, Worthless. When I was a kid, I never thought much about this song. I just thought it was pretty cool how fast-paced it was. Now that I'm an adult, it hits differently, and oh boy is it disturbing. Each car would sing about who they were before they ended up in the dump. No matter who they were, they are all in the end worthless. It's not a very uplifting song. A lot of people have analyzed what each of the cars are supposed to represent. I won't go over it here. There are plenty of videos that go pretty in depth. I will say that the most depressing part in this song is how the truck willingly drove onto the conveyor belt to get crushed. I'm grateful they kept cutting back to the TV, trying to manipulate Rob to go to the dump to save his friends. It gives a much needed break from this song. Rob and his girlfriend get to the dump. He finds the appliances minus Toaster. The electromagnet gets him and the others onto the conveyor belt to get crushed. Boy, that's one evil magnet. Toaster throws himself into the gears to save them. thus earning the title Brave Little Toaster. Rob fixes him and takes them all to college. The Brave Little Toaster is a great movie, even if it's a little disturbing. A lot of kids' movies from the 80s were like that. It's what helped define the decade. What helped made it work is that the characters are likable, so you want to see them make it out okay. The songs are great, even if they weren't always pleasant. The most important thing is they got a happy ending. The best kids' movies let kids know that life isn't all sunshine and lollipops. Bad things happen, and you have to learn how to deal with them. The Brave Little Toaster does a great job at showing that you can get a happy ending, even if you have to go through hell to get there. I do think parents should use their own discretion when showing this movie to kids, but I don't think most kids would understand some of the more mature themes. They'll just see this as a fun movie, and in some ways it is, even if it's kind of disturbing. Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think, and don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later.